Hey everyone, and welcome back to the show. I am your host, the Vigilante, and I'm back at it with another video. So for today's video, we're going to do none other than the great Harman Smith. And if you truly enjoy my videos, please give them a like, share, and subscribe. I'm really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I really need your help. And remember, men, please wrap it up so you don't produce another Harman Smith. Let's get into the video.
It seems like the industry has kind of settled on a new tactic when it comes to like trying to gas people up when it comes to like products they want to sell.
Yes, I agree. Is Harman Smith finally coming out and saying that people are gaslighting to sell the Nintendo Switch 2? Please tell me it's true that he has finally woken up to the truth.
You know, like for the past couple of years, we've seen this like process where everybody comes out and starts shilling some nothing burger game that like nobody's ever heard of before. You know, like It Takes Two came out in 2021. We had Stray a while back. We had Astrobot. We had like a Baldur's Gate 3. You know,
Okay, I was wrong. That was some wishful thinking on my part.
Hi-Fi Rush is a big one, right? You know, usually these games come out in the first half of the year, and like immediately, like everyone's just like, "Oh, this is a game of the year contender." You know, this is the greatest thing ever. It's always some like lower budget game from some developer that no one's ever heard of, that nobody cares about, and it almost always ends terribly. You know, like Astrobot was a really blatant example of it, but like I think the most blatant.
Harman, Astrobot has sold over 1.5 million copies. Okay, and when are you going to sit there and get into the whole Expedition 33? The title of your video was all about Expedition 33. So why are we this far into the video and you haven't even said a single thing about Expedition 33? Get to the point.
Example to me is what happened to Hi-Fi Rush, you know, where they announced this game, you know, they put it out in January, and everybody immediately said it was like the best game of the year, you know, never mind that it came out in January, right? Like, oh, Hi-Fi Rush, it's the greatest game ever. You know, there was all this talk about how Microsoft was investing in Tango Gameworks and how it was going to lead to like this becoming a franchise and how they were greenlighting new projects and hiring new people. Oh, it was such a huge success story, guys. They shut the studio down. You know, not even a year later, they shut that thing down. It's like, it really just was.
I have never played Hi-Fi Rush, but Hi-Fi Rush has sold over 3 million copies. What the heck are you talking about, Harman? And yes, I had to look at my phone to double check that.
The most transparent example of what's actually happening here. You know, like every time these games come crawling out of the woodwork, trying to get people to like talk about them or care about them at all, the reality is that it's just a marketing stunt. You know, it's just some like attempt at gaslighting people.
Gaslighting, huh? You know that all these games that you keep referring to have sold more than your precious Princess Peach Showtime, and I believe Mario and Luigi Brothership also?
Into thinking this game is somehow special or worth your attention. You know, it's kind of remarkable. You know, going into Donkey Kong Bonanza, just how blatantly obvious it is that like Bonanza is just going to completely 100% just wreck Astrobot. You know, just like the original Donkey Kong Country, like wrecked Crash Bandicoot back in the day. You know, it's going to be like a very similar kind of like.
Harman, how are we halfway through your video and you have yet to even mention Expedition 33? That is the title of your video. That's supposed to be the whole point of your video. How are we halfway through and you haven't mentioned it? You have mentioned Hi-Fi Rush, Astrobot, and Baldur's Gate 3. Well, you more whined and cried about them since they're saying that people are gaslighting these amazing games that you just can't come to terms with how amazing they are. One of them won game, or two of them won Game of the Year, and you can't even accept that. And now you're talking about Donkey Kong Bonanza, of course. Any way to throw that damn game into the mix, huh?
Thing where like Donkey Kong is like this huge phenomenal thing, a huge success story, and you're not going to see people like address the obvious. You know, like if Astrobot really was that good and that successful and that popular, it should have fans who would be willing to advocate for it against Donkey Kong, but that just isn't going to happen. You know, like they're just not going to make the comparison. You know, like, but Donkey Kong Bonanza
Probably because Donkey Kong Bonanza and Astro Bot are two different games. And how are you going to sit there and say how much of a success story it's going to be when the game hasn't even come out yet? You have no idea if the game's going to be any good. You're just speculating like you always do. I hope the game is good. I truly hope that every game that comes out is actually a good game, but we know that we live in reality and that is not always the case.
Is going to be better than 2024's Game of the Year, and nobody's going to talk about it. They are just going to brush it under the rug and say it doesn't count because, like, Bonanza came out in 2025. Like, it's just appallingly ridiculous, you know? Like, Bonanza very likely won't even get, like, a major mention at, like, the Shill Show, you know? Like, it's...
The Shill Show? Are you talking about the Game Awards? If you're going to sit there and say it at least correctly, and it might not. You know, Nintendo IPs are generally not considered up to the quality for the Game Awards. That's something you need to understand.
It's going to be really interesting to see how, like, journos, like, handle this. But, like, that's kind of my point, you know? Like, when exactly have you ever seen any of these people come out and advocate for a Nintendo game the way they do for these, like, minor third-party developers, you know? Like, when has anybody, like, gotten excited over, like, Fire Emblem Three Houses or, like, you know, Splatoon or, like, Xenoblade Chronicles 3? You know, these major games with these major online followings, right? Like, that are way bigger than, like, any of the meme games that I just brought up. Like...
Well, the reason why the Nintendo games that you keep mentioning sit there and see such a high success is because you guys have very little third-party support, and you guys are just starving for good quality games that you guys just buy up anything Nintendo throws at you. When you look at the Switch 1 catalog, when half of the games are literally nothing but low-class shovelware, no wonder that you look at Princess Peach Showtime, who sold 1.2 million copies, which I don't even understand how the damn anybody would buy that game. I don't understand why it sold so damn much. I have never played the game, but I have watched gameplay of it, and that game does not look fun whatsoever. It looks like a waste of money. Same thing with, well, I never played Mario and Luigi Brothership, but your poster boy, Nintendo's poster boy, Woods from Beat 'em Up, sat there and said that game wasn't very good. So I'll take his word on it.
Expedition 33, you know, is a nothing burger game that's not going to go anywhere, that's not going to be remembered, that nobody cares for, nobody cares about. It has the most generic, uninspired name I've ever seen, you know. Still have not seen gameplay, don't know anything about it.
Harman, if you're going to speak about the name, it is Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Get it right, and finally, over halfway through your damn video, you finally sit there and mention the whole talking point. That was the point of the video. Learn how to title your videos correctly. And this game has sold, let me look at my phone real quick, over 2 million copies within 12 days. Do you know how impressive that is? Do you, Harman? Please tell me if you do.
Why is Expedition 33 getting all this praise and attention when you just have dozens of better games coming out on Nintendo Arcade, right?
Well, maybe if you go look at the gameplay, you will see why. This game looks phenomenal. I can't wait to play it. Yes, I'm late to the party. I still got to finish a couple other games before I can dive into this. But you haven't even looked at it yet, so how are you even speaking about it like this? You sit there and say how much you love JRPGs or RPGs. I know it's an RPG, not a JRPG. But you sit there and say how much you love these kind of games. You're just mad that it didn't come on your precious Nintendo Switch. And you do realize that the majority of the games coming out for the Switch 2 are third-party games. That's why you don't sit there and talk crap about all those games that you used to, like Elden Ring or Cyberpunk 2077. We never hear you talk bad about those except about From Software bending the knee. That's the only thing we ever hear you say.
Like, where is all this praise and attention for Mario Kart World, you know? Like, whenever people, like...
Why would we give praise and attention to a game that's overpriced and overhyped? $80? Are you kidding me? This game came out at $50. Expedition 33 is literally a $50 game at launch. That's an amazing deal. You get 30 hours of gameplay out of it. It is truly an amazing deal. To get it for $50, that's almost unheard of nowadays. And you want us to give some praise and attention to a game that's probably not even going to be that good and is going to be overpriced to all hell.
complain, talk about Mario Kart World at all. It's just to complain about the perfectly reasonable $80 price point.
Perfectly reasonable, my ass. You don't even know what perfectly reasonable is. Your hairline isn't even perfectly reasonable. How are you going bald and fat? Harman, you need to pick a struggle already.
You know, like nothing about the game itself or its like qualities or like just how amazing it's gonna be. Like no, we gotta hype up Expedition 33. Like it's fake. It's gay. It's just the very definition.
Harman, the only thing gay around here is how many times you let your back get blown out by Doug Bowser. Okay, it's time to dismount already. Dismount, my guy.
Expedition 33 is a really interesting case where like this thing like lost relevancy before it even really got off the ground, right?
Oh yeah, it's lost so much relevancy that it has sold over 2 million copies within 12 days of it launching. You're a fucking idiot.
I wasn't even remotely curious about this game, Like that's the thing that gets me about this is that like I saw people tweeting about it and like releasing these statements about like how great it was, and I'm just like, oh yeah, it's one of these again.
Yes, it's one of these games that take away spotlight from your precious Nintendo. I know you can't handle it, but it's okay, Harman. We all know that you want to play this game. We all know you wish it was on your precious Switch, but unfortunately, the Switch is not strong enough to play a game of this caliber.
Exactly the same kind of behavior we saw with On Your Tail or Celeste or just like any of these other meme games of the past decade is just like, oh, all these guys gush about how great the game is online, but they're certainly not playing it. They're certainly not playing other games. Like why exactly would I take a gaming YouTuber's opinion seriously?
The real question is, why would anybody ever take your opinion seriously? Like, honestly, I am starting to think Gar is actually being honest about you. He sits there and says that you are not a troll and you are a true fanboy. I honestly thought you were being a troll because there is no way that someone is this delusional, but I'm starting to think Gar is right. I think I have literally just ate my own words, and you really are this delusional of a fanboy.
Going into Switch 2 season, like, nobody should be talking about, like, minor releases from, like, new developers at this point in time. Like, people should be, like, focused on Switch 2. People should be focused on all the great games that are coming out day one. People should be hyped for the future of that platform.
Harman, there's only one game coming out on the Switch that is a brand new Nintendo game, which is Mario Kart World. Every other thing is a report. You got so many games being reported from the Switch catalog, and then you got so many other third-party games that you guys are finally getting your hands on. The games that you've been talking shit on all these years, the games that you've been bashing all these years, just wait until Baldur's Gate 3 comes out to the Switch. I guarantee you're going to finally give that game the respect it deserves.
The market leader, Nintendo, I don't have the time, the energy, or like even the desire to look into Expedition 33. Like, I don't care if it's a new studio. Like, I don't care if they're like French or if they're like some former Ubisoft developers. I don't care.
I don't see how you don't have the time. I'm pretty certain you got more than plenty enough time to sit there and look into this game. It's not like that you haven't played every damn Nintendo game for the Switch, because when you look at strictly good Switch games, there ain't that very many compared to all the shovelware they got on there. My guy, you need to make time for something.
If it's successful, right? I have so many other games that I would rather play that your game isn't even on my radar. I don't even want to hear about it, okay? Let alone, like, buy and play it. That's kind of my feeling towards, these meme games at this point. It's just, I am just so tired of going through this song and dance.
Harman, you don't even know what the song and dance is, so keep your mouth shut about that. And number two, in most of your videos, you very rarely ever talk about a Nintendo game. You just always reference a Nintendo game. You talk more about non-Nintendo games than you do actual Nintendo games.
Every couple of months, it feels like. Every couple of months, there's some game that's supposedly some new, like genre-defining thing, and yet it's just not, Like Helldivers fell off, Baldur's Gate fell off, Like, I am sick and tired of the online gaming community not playing video games.
Harman, the online gaming community, and even like the PS5 or the Xbox gaming communities, they all play great games. Even the Nintendo community, even you guys play some good games. And I have seen your live streams, I have tuned in a couple of times, and I have yet to see you play an actual good game recently. Well, that's it for my reaction. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with me or not. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, stay vigilant. And remember, men, please wrap it up.